Hi there, Dr. Todd Christie here, Michigan Dental Association. Appreciate everyone coming on tonight. All right, so tonight we're all on here for the House of Delegates Zoom presentation regarding annual session, the concepts. Yes, I'm Todd Christie, Speaker of the House. So tonight we're going to focus on the following points for our meeting. What is the role of a delegate and alternate and the importance of alternate delegates? We're going to talk about things that you should be reviewing before you caucus. And for those who are new, if you're an alternate delegate and not been on before, caucus is you meet before we get to Grand Rapids. And whether that now it may well be that if we're looking to meet, we can set up to do that as a Zoom caucus where you can get your members of your delegation from your local component in your region as well to meet. And that could be a caucus. And Michelle Nichols-Cruz, your governance manager for MDE, would help set that up if your team has not done that before. That'd be one way to caucus. Next, what do you do with that regional pre-House of Delegates caucus? What would I recommend, I guess, from doing that? Next, if you're creating an amending resolution at your regional caucus or preparing for the reference committee hearings. Next, the reference committee presentation, what goes on there. And last, the times and date for the House of Delegates for dentistry. I'm sorry, this is dentistry in Grand Rapids. Let me see what we have here as well. So the roles of delegates and alternate delegates. Delegates and alternates represent their component dental societies, their unique observations about issues impacting dentistry, as well as their components' unique needs. These delegates and alternates need to communicate their observations and needs to the Michigan Dental Association via the House of Delegates. They can also communicate with the MDA board as a delegate or as a delegation. Serving in your House of Delegates incurs certain obligations as a delegate or alternate. You need to be well informed on the issues confronting the profession and the association. You need to serve as a communicator between your constituency, your local component, and the MDA board. It's critical that it requires you attending your component dental meetings, as well as keeping up with the MDA communications to relay information both ways. I ask Michelle, is that coming through now with the slides or no? Sorry for technical difficulties. This is why it's so much fun doing things with this way. Okay, good. There we go. Thank you for the feedback. So you've already heard all this before. What we're going to do tonight, what your roles are, and I know we do have some who are on the Board of Trustees, so you'll need to know your roles, listen to all these individuals, the obligations for both the delegates, alternates, as well as the MDA. So next, here we go. The term of the delegate or alternate is 1 administrative year from House meeting to House meeting. So you're getting ready for the coming House in 2020, serving through the remainder of that year following it. So you need to attend and participate in the House of Delegates meetings held during annual session. You need to read the background information provided in advance of those the resolutions will be coming out here soon. Some are already will be online. Actively participate in discussions before the meeting, during the meeting, and be strategic in where our organization is headed. Work with your component dental society to submit recommendations to the House of Delegates. So you can get these prepared now. If there's something that's coming up in conversation, let us know how we can help you create a recommendation. Here's my big thing. Read the bylaws and also go through and read the manual of the House of Delegates. There's a lot of good information in there. There is some of what you'll be seeing here tonight in there as well regarding resolutions and how we process those through our House of Delegates. Attend and participate in any scheduled component or regional caucus before the House meeting and on site. So as I said, the pre-caucus meetings, whether those are by Zoom or if those are in person, who knows? But on site, when we have our on-site meetings, you'll be able to caucus together and as your regional caucus and determine what you need to talk about or what you need to bring forward to your House of Delegates. Honor the obligation to keep up with the Speaker and the Board of Trustee communications on a regular basis through the year. Right now is a great time. It's obviously, you've got a lot of other stuff going on in your practice and in your life. If you want to take a look, though, you can go through onto the leadership page of the Michigan Dental Association website. There's access there to all of our information that we have on there right now. But meet the expectation, be a participatory by providing feedback and ideas to the Speaker and or the MDA Board of Trustees. So you can reach out to board members if you want to learn more too, or give your experience and feedback. Go through and review the Board of Trustees and the committee minutes when they're published. So on that same page, you'll be able to find those as part of the leadership part of the website for MDA. And know who your MDA officers and trustee are and communicate ideas and suggestions, issues, and concerns with them. Obviously, right now, I've been in contact with a number here today, and we've got members reaching out regarding what's going on. And that's important to do, is stay attuned to what we're seeing and what we're hearing, and relaying that back to the other board members as well as to the association, so we can find some challenges. If we can help, that's what we're here for. So one of the big things for me always has been the importance of having alternate delegates. Each component is allotted the same number of delegates and alternates to serve in the House of Delegates. Now, how your component selects to fill these roles is so important. Your local component can look to the future of filling the alternate delegate roles. This is one of the, sometimes many of the first contact or opportunity a member has had in a statewide leadership or even in component leadership. The mentoring of these individuals is imperative in the future success of the MDA as well as your local component. Getting these individuals involved, but keeping them involved is most, I always say, you don't want to just get somebody in there and run them through and you don't talk to them for a year. Keep them involved so they know what's going on. Also, the other part that I've seen as well is the component may choose to have an alternate delegate role with a past component leader, or one of those seasoned or grizzled House of Delegates, MDA, or even ADA delegation veterans. These folks are terrific in passing along the history and mentoring those who are also serving, and I've seen that as well. That works well to get done. Now, the big things to take a look at here is what you need to do before you pre-caucus. I go through and get onto that website and download the complete packet of current resolutions from the House of Delegate page on the MDA website. Here's where it's at. You don't need to click and send it, but you can go right to it. So you click onto Leadership Central, you click over to MDA Governance, and you'll see right down there in the banner says House of Delegates. You click there, and it shows the current House resolutions and reports. So go to michigandental.org, Leadership, Governance, and House of Delegates. I even think we're trying to improve that so it's easier to get to without as many clicks. Now you can view and download the resolutions on the website as well. It's something new because you can download all of those as a zip file. And now your board has been doing this for about 8 years now. Now there are instructions also right there, so you can directly below it on the download link on how to open the zip files into your device. Now, you want to take a look back and see what's been going on in the association over the past year. Now with this, how do you do it? The way to see it is on the Leadership Central page as well. Go through and click on the Review Past Actions page. There's where it's at. So Leadership Central, Review Past Actions. Now on that page, you can see and check out the following pieces of information. You can see everything that's gone on from the board and their actions they've taken at their meetings. You can check on the committees and see what committee actions have been taken as well, and House of Delegate actions from last year. Those are on there as well. You can go back and look a few years back if you want to go through and see what's been going on. And also, you can look at the House of Delegate, the committee actions. Those are all listed as well for the committees of the House. Now, there's a lot of information, as I say here, a substantial amount of information you can learn for what's there on the MDA website. Looking through this information is going to answer some of the questions you may have, or might give you some ideas that you can bring forward through your component, your delegation, or your caucus to the House of Delegates and the board as well. You might see something that maybe somebody missed and you don't know if they talked about it. This is an important way to go through and find what you think. This is, again, going back to that, taking that narrowed down look and saying, is there something else we can do to help the association? Now, if you have a question about something you read and want more information, reach out to the MDA for more information. On every one of those committee actions, you'll see who the MDA team member is. If you want some help on doing that as well, obviously you can always reach out to myself or Michelle Nichols-Cruz, your governance manager. We can help point you in the right direction if we don't have the answer. But working with the MDA team is something to do as well. You can also see who those members are on those committees. And if you want to reach out to them, that's another opportunity too to find out what's going on there. Now, your regions pre-caucus, and these are probably, you typically are set up after the spring breaks going in through April, those first 3 weeks of April this year. I don't know how those are going to go this year. It'll be the challenge. Again, maybe that's what we'll do and set up for doing a Zoom for the caucuses to do this. So as I said before, always review the resolutions before the House of Delegates. You'll have that packet downloaded. Click on that, review and read those, make your notations, and bring that to your pre-caucus. Go through, debate, and discuss with them. Look if there's pros and cons, if there's discussion. Determine if your caucus, are you in favor of a resolution or against it, or if you want more information. Answer the question, though, most importantly, is this resolution best for the association as a whole? Now, determine if you have questions or need additional information, as I said, regarding it, and if so, reach out to the MDA team or your board of trustees. And then also, as your pre-caucus, determine if you want to recommend any changes to a resolution that's coming before the House. This is where I say it. You got to make a change if you want to make a change. So if you think a change to a resolution will help improve it, your region or component can move forward in one of two ways. First, you can create an amending resolution to submit prior to the first meeting of the House of Delegates. So this is going to be probably by the third week of April this year. We'd like to see those in there, but we want to have it before the first meeting. The sooner the better, because then if there's a resolution that's coming from a caucus, we can get this out to the website so the other caucuses can see what you're thinking. The other one is you can bring your recommendations and give testimony at the reference committee hearing following the first meeting of the House of Delegates, and that'll be on Thursday for us, hopefully, for all that we've got going on. So your region pre-caucus meets and you want to create an amending resolution. So first you want to determine your reasons for altering a resolution and make a recommendation via an amending resolution. Now, these can be transmitted electronically to Michelle Nichols-Cruz. Your reasons for amending are an important part of the process to give the why that voting members of the House of Delegates need to know. The reasons that you give will create the background statement attached to the amending resolution. This statement is your testimony to the reason for change. Amendments, as always, to a resolution will be in one of four ways. You can amend by addition. This means you're putting more words within a motion. Second, you can amend by deletion, is taking words out within a motion, so removing those. Third, you can do it by striking out and inserting. So you take out certain words within a motion, then adding contiguous words in that same area. Last, you can amend by substitution, which is substituting one major section of a motion with a replacement section. Now, a lot of this information we'll see later on. I actually probably have in a presentation we do on the Wednesday as well, so it can help everyone with that. So remember that when you're proposing an amendment, that the most important consideration is that it is germane. So this means it must have a direct bearing on the subject of the resolution that amendment seeks to change. Now, there is a House of Delegates resolution amendment form, is what you use to propose an amendment. It is already available on the House of Delegates page under the current House resolutions and report. You'll see that there it says House of Delegates resolution amendment form. And so with using that gets that information through. And Michelle Nichols-Cruz and myself, we can help you with that. First, you'll send it to Michelle, and she and I can work on it. If there's any questions we want to help you have it be clear for what you're looking to amend on a resolution. And then we can get that form out to the other. Once approved, we can get that out to the rest of the House members. Now, let's say we're looking at this proposed resolution. Resolved that the House of Delegates urges the Michigan Dental Association Board of Trustees to use its reserve funds to purchase a location in Lansing for the purpose of legislative affairs and hire a design firm for the renovation of the location. So if you want to amend by addition, you could add the following words following the word Lansing that says within 1/8 of a mile of the Capitol building. Now, if we make that addition, one thing is always said, is it germane? And yes, I would rule that this is in order because when you're saying within 1/8 of a mile of the Capitol building, this has direct bearing as to where the location is in Lansing. So that could be used as an amendment if that's what they were looking for. Now we look down below for amend by deletion. This one they want to amend by deletion and striking the words and hire a design firm for the renovation of the location. So this person would write up in their background statement that they just want to go through and purchase the location in Lansing for purpose of legislative affairs, but they don't want to spend money on a design firm for renovating it. That whatever reason why, but they will give it, and that's where the decision of the House will be as to what occurs with that resolution. Now we're back to the same one again. Let's take a look at two other ways here. First, you could go through and by amending by striking out and inserting. By amending by striking out the word purchase and inserting the word leasing. So they would speak to why they feel that they prefer that leasing a location rather than purchasing a location would be the best choice for our association. And who knows whether the treasurer of the association, I'm sure we'll get feedback on that as well. And that's where the good news is we can get that information, that discussion going at the House. Second, it could be amended by substitution. You could substitute the entire resolution, which says resolve the House of Delegate urges the Michigan Dental Association to form a work group to evaluate the best options to acquire a location in Lansing for the purpose of legislative affairs and create cost assessments for the renovation of the location with a report to the House of Delegates meeting in 2020. So this one would be in order because you're dealing with everything, and it is certainly germane to what the original proposed resolution was. Now, another opportunity is to bring your ideas to the House of Delegates Reference Committee, which follows the first meeting of the House. So this is if you're pre-caucus, you come up with an idea and you're not quite sure and you don't want to bring a resolution, you want to hear what's going on when you get to the Reference Committee. Or it could be when you get to the Wednesday night event that we'll have, networking with the other delegations, you might learn more as to what other people are thinking about a specific resolution. But when we get to the last order of business on the day, on Thursday after the first meeting of the House, that is the House of Delegates Reference Committee hearing. Now, at this meeting, all of your main motions or the resolutions, as we talked about, are presented here for the House of Delegates to consider. Now, it's beneficial to the House for members to give testimony at the Reference Committee. Why is that? So the committee can advise the House on the course of action for each resolution. The goal of a reference committee, as it says here, it says it will save the House considerable amount of time at the second meeting of the House on Saturday. And I will go back to this one though. This is giving testimony. This is not where you're going to go through and say, I move to amend. You can present your ideas. You can write those down. You can present them to the reference committee, and then they'll go through and take the preponderance of what the testimony was to come up with the best recommendation to the House of Delegates for what they see, and they'll receive this back typically on Friday, and as well they have it ready for Saturday morning for their meetings for when you caucus on site. So remember one thing, as I say at the bottom, it's not uncommon for testimony to go entirely opposite of where you think it may go. I have seen this before in a number of it, as I think a number of our attendees here this evening will agree. But most importantly, by knowing where your delegation, your caucus stand on a resolution, you're able to provide the testimony and opinion to help move forward our association's business. Now, your pre-caucus meeting that you have, you might come up with ideas or recommendations that should be brought to the House for discussion and potential adoption. If so, it's time for you to write up a resolution. A resolution is a substantive proposal presented to the House of Delegates for consideration, discussion, decision, and action. So this is if there's, like I said, new ideas, not looking at what you've already got with the resolutions that are submitted already out to the House. So one of the powers of the House of Delegates has is to advise the Board of Trustees regarding any matter of importance other than bylaws. This is done through a resolution. All resolutions adopted by the House of Delegates must be acted upon by the Board of Trustees no later than the second Board of Trustees meeting following the House of Delegates at which the resolution was adopted. So our meeting coming up here in April and into May. So when we talk about no later than the second Board of Trustees meeting, there's a board meeting that actually immediately follows the second meeting of the House on that Saturday afternoon. That would be the first one. The second Board of Trustees meeting that we have is the summer board meeting. And I typically will see that getting these resolutions acted upon gets completed at that first meeting, if not soon thereafter, to get those moving in the direction for whatever the House has adopted. So the Board of Trustees must take one of the following actions on each non-bylaws amending resolution. They can either adopt the resolution as adopted by the House, they can overrule the resolution, they can adopt the resolution as amended by the board, so they can take it, make changes, and adopt it, or they can refer the resolution to a committee for further review and/or a recommendation. So in these areas, whether or not you're looking to create or amend a resolution or create a brand new resolution, as I said, please feel free to reach out to myself and Michelle Nichols-Cruz for assistance in getting the information exactly how you and your delegation want it to be. So next, I want to get to the next part, which is important. So as we've created the calendar as we see it for this upcoming annual session. Now, on Wednesday, from 5 to 7 p.m., is the House of Delegates Parliamentary Training and Meet the Candidates. So I've been working on a new presentation for this year, adding and changing from what I've had the last 2 years. I'm trying to we know that in our House, about 25% of the members change over each year. And so my goal is to have something fresh for those who've been there before, but also making sure we have some sound training as well. And I found a neat piece this past year at the American Institute for Parliamentarians, and I'm making modifications to have it be one that we can really use in our association. Kind of excited about it. That'll go from 5 to 7 p.m. From 5 to 6 is a Meet the Candidates. That's the first part. And then from 6 to 7, CE class on parliamentary training that will be provided for you. And yes, all this is complimentary and free of charge to our members. But I'd say if you're new to the delegation or no new delegates that are coming in or alternates, please have them attend. We're going to get these lists up there and see, but we're excited about what's going to come up this year. Now we get to Thursday. This is going to be the busy day for everybody, or the first of 2 busy days. But on Thursday, the first meeting of the House, and these are estimated times. Michelle Nichols-Cruz and I have been looking at these and trying to find what we think the timeline will be. The first meeting of the House, typically, we're looking at about 2 hours. But in this, we're excited this year. I believe we will have in attendance the president-elect of the American Dental Association will be joining us. He just attended our meeting here this past month for the Board of Trustees and gave a presentation. And actually spoke with one of our members, Dr. Chris Smiley, our editor, and was very impressed with the deliberations of our board and asked to see if we could extend the invitation for him to attend our annual session, because he wants to see how our House of Delegates operates. So I'm going to say there's no pressure on anybody when you have the president-elect of the ADA requesting to come in and speak to us. But I think you'll find him engaging and informational, and I was impressed by it, and I've met him before as well, and I look forward to having him attend it. It extends us by about 15 minutes from what we had planned. So let's go next. We have the candidate forum, and this is for the trustee positions. And so this year we know we have the typical for the voting we have for the upcoming trustee positions, and we estimate that'll go from 10:45 to 11:25 in the morning. We'll take a quick 5-minute break to reset. And then have the ADA delegation candidate introductions. This is not a forum where they're being answered questions, but from your election commission, they will just be making a candidate. Each candidate will be offered time to make a statement. Again, if you look at it, both the candidate forum for trustees as well as the ADA delegation, the candidate, if you have not met any of these individuals and would like to, we've encouraged them all to attend that Meet the Candidates on Wednesday evening. So seek them out and get to know them. Ask questions about their ideas or things that they'd like to see. As well, we just got done recording from all the trustee and delegation candidates their videos where they've been all asked 2 substantive questions for each topic, for all of them, based on which position that they're running for. And so those we hope to have out there in the coming weeks. And as soon as we have those all completed, those will be released out. And you'll get notification of that. Next, most importantly, lunch. We got to keep a house fed. That's how you keep a house happy, right? And so we'll have a half-hour break there for lunch. Now, following it, this is something that is new this year. We are going to hold a forum on the bylaws change regarding component mergers. This is a resolution that just came up here at our February board meeting that came from the component work group that's been working on these areas over the past 2 years. And so we'll have a half-hour forum to discuss this topic in particular. At our board meeting, we had substantive discussion on this. And with those House members who were in attendance, I asked them prior to this, because this was my idea for bringing this in. I've seen forums that have occurred at the ADA annual session prior to the House meeting. And I think this is a very important topic, and I want to make sure that we are getting the information out there. And if there's questions that might come up during the reference committee, but I think this will be chaired by Dr. Deb Peters, as well as we will have the members of the component work group in attendance as well, we hope. And they are setting that up right now. And so that is the forum we'll have prior. And then immediately following that, we'll move into having the reference committee hearing, which we have set aside for an hour for that to get completed for the review of all the resolutions before the House of Delegates, and allow our member dentists, and this is not just for the House, this is for all member dentists, to give their opinions in regards to what the topics are before the House. Now on Saturday, after that first day, I know we're all going to be a bit tired. That's why we've got other stuff to do, get out to classes and that, and attend the president's event on Friday evening. We get to Saturday morning. is where we'll get started at. The reference committee reports will be delivered to each regional caucus room by 7 a.m. on Saturday. Most of the component caucus meetings, the morning meetings with them will start at either 8 or 8:30. These will all be listed. Everyone should be straightforward. I'm asking that we have a pretty clear map as to get around. So whether you are inviting the trustee candidates or ADA delegation candidates to your caucuses, I don't know. That's a caucus decision as to who you invite. I will be stopping by each caucus to answer questions, and you will know that my cell phone is ready and available for texting. I'll make sure that each of the delegation chairs that are there, that they have mine. But again, you all have mine if you need me to get a hold of me with any questions, and I will review that as well. You'll have that in those notes for getting a hold of myself or getting a hold of Michelle Nichols-Cruz and the team from MDA. And following that, you'll figure out whenever you end, you decide, but the second meeting begins at 1 p.m. and will close when we're done working. And I don't have a time on that. I'm not going to guess. I know we have usually about 2.5 hours, but we have the voting to get taken care of. We have presentations. And of course, we have the most important part, the deliberation regarding all of the resolutions before the House. So on here, and I'll leave this, but as well, we'll get this out to you in email as well if you need to get a hold of us. Right now, given the challenges that we're having with COVID-19, best way to reach Michelle Nichols-Cruz would be via email, is to send that to her. But I want to make sure you know that for me, getting a hold of me is always the same. You got my cell phone number right there with 269-325-8383. That one, if you send me a text, if I've not texted before, let me know who you are and I'll add you into my contact list to help keep track of what component you're with. Would be terrific. I'd appreciate that. And you've also got my email there. So that is what I have here. Let's see. Hey, there we go. Let me come back out here and hit escape. I do appreciate everyone taking time out of their busy schedules, all we've got going on with our practices. I appreciate you taking the time, and I'll jump back out and answer any questions. About a half hour of time there. I know there's a lot going on with that. Are there any questions that anyone has at this moment regarding the parliamentary stuff first? And if there are none, that's okay. You can always text me too or call me. All right, I'll say any other questions, if any discussion, you have any questions on what I discussed in the beginning of the meeting regarding what's going on with the position statement that came out today from the Michigan Dental Association. Clayton Shunk asks, and I guess I'll answer it live. You know what, Clayton? Yes, we are able to hold a virtual House of Delegates meeting. It is within our bylaws that we can hold a online meeting. However, there are going to be some challenges with that. And so actually tomorrow afternoon, I think I have that set up. I'm working with Michelle Nichols-Cruz, or is that Wednesday, Michelle? We've got a date set up. We're confirming that to work with. Most importantly for us is how would we vote with getting the voting done. Obviously, with all the changes coming up, with all the changes we're seeing right now, the discussion that your board will be having next week, Tuesday, the 24th, regarding the annual session. We're watching this and the changes that are happening daily, hourly, as to with the response that we're seeing to COVID-19. Most importantly is our member safety and our, as well as our team from Michigan Dental Association. And so for me, we're going to look to see what we could do. And then I will keep you all apprised as to what we see as opportunities. Obviously, my hope is that coming out of this next 2 weeks that we're seeing a return and seeing people getting healthy with fewer cases for what's going forward. And I'd love to have it that we can see each other again here coming up in Grand Rapids here at the end of next month. Any other questions? And I hope I answered that well enough for you, Clayton Shunk. But again, always keep an eye on the MDA website for what's going on. Watch your emails for if anything regarding the House. with the delegate digest that we've had going out. Actually, that's one thing I didn't mention on there too. Go back through if you want to see what goes on at the board meetings, or just to keep up with what we've had here over the past year. You can go back through and you can see all the delegate digests that are also on that part of the governance page. You can go through and click on those. So check out the committees of the House, the Board of Trustee actions, the delegate digest. Go through, if you really want to get some in-depth fun reading, go through and download the bylaws of the association. That's what I do. I always have mine on my computer ready to go. But that's how we know, as Clayton asked, regarding can we meet remotely? And yes, we can. And so it's an important thing to know as well. So seeing no other questions, you are ready to vote? No, you're ready to go. Again, thank you all for attending the meeting tonight. Appreciate it. Stay healthy, stay happy. Look forward to seeing your smiles in Grand Rapids here at the end of April. Good night.